Hi everyone, welcome to Shimmer Girl Talks. Today's topic is going to be kind of hard to talk about only because I know people are sensitive, but I've been wanting to kind of talk about it anyway. Men of other races and cultures are not better than black men. Same with women of other cultures are not better than black women. What the difference is societal influences. Those other cultures tend to have different standards that we do not have in our community. We embrace ratchets of all types of ratchets. And what happens is those women raise the males and the females who grow up to also be ratchets. So the reason why I'm talking about this is because on one of those divestor channels, and I don't look at them, I've looked at them just to get a understanding of where they're coming from and stuff like that. But I can tell you they are not part of my tribe. So I can only stomach listening to them, so much. So one of those women on one of those channels said one day that I'm going off on a tangent. She said that black women would be so much better off if there were no black men on this earth. And I'm like, how delusional. Number one, you and I would not be here if it wasn't for a black man. And one thing that, while listening to those women, that I want to gain an understanding is none of them ever mentions a father. And if some of them do have a father in their lives, would they be talking the way that they talk? So that's baffling to me. They paint all black men as literal garbage. And one of the women allegedly has a son or sons. So I don't know if she knows or not. Her sons are considered black. In this country, he or they would be considered black. So I did mention this, going off on yet another tangent. You have a lot of black women that feel that other race men are better because they're another race, when that is not necessarily the case. You have women of other cultures who raise their children, they put values into their children that will serve them later in life. I did a short not too long ago where I said mothers are the first teachers of their children, not the dad, not the teachers at school, but you, the mother. Because that child is going to spend their first 3 years with you, until you put them like in preschool. But even still, you have to put certain values into your children if you want them to grow up to be a certain way. And as I have said in previous videos, you have black children out here, maybe as young as 5, who could rap, or they know some of the most disgusting songs word for word, but they don't know math, or they can barely read, but they know how to twerk. They know how to sing disgusting songs that are too old for them. They're 5 years old and they're listening to R-rated songs and can read it word for word. Those are the values that a lot of black women put into their children. Not to mention, a lot of black children are growing up in single mother run homes where they heard their mother downgrading the man that they chose to procreate with. Then you have a lot of these young ladies in particular, they grow up hearing that men are nothing, black men in particular, black men are nothing. They don't want to get married. All kinds of stuff. They'll leave you with children. And a lot of these women are not telling you, and I was going to post a short from a Kendra G video. She had a 38-year-old woman, mother of 2, who by her own admission had never been in a committed relationship, but she was committed to opening her legs and having children with men who did not commit to her. This is what happens more often than not in our communities. So you have men of other races who may be quicker to marry you, but that's because that is part of their standard and their cultures in their communities. That is not the standard in the Black community. It could be if Black women chose to work at, getting to that place. And see, and this is something that I've noticed with a lot of Black women. A lot of Black women, like to say how, we're the most educated and I'm a boss and, all of that stuff. But then at the same time, want to put 100% of the blame and responsibilities on the men. If you want certain things out of life, ladies, you have to prioritize and make certain life decisions. And another thing that I noticed with our community, and I've seen it in videos, like a lot of Black women, their standards are like financial, they're superficial, the car we drive, the purses that we carry, the clothes that we wear, all of that stuff. That is what a lot of Black women put emphasis on. And then you look at other cultures, their standards tend to be, and I'm not talking about all, I'm just giving a generalized explanation. Whereas you have a lot of women in other cultures, particularly maybe middle class, whose standards are marry before you carry. And I'm not talking about all the rebuttals, because I know, like I say this all the time, I've been down this road more times than I care to say online. I've been down this road many times with Black women. Yeah, well, you could be married and this, and that, and blah, 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 blah. I only see Black women with 10,001 excuses as to why marriage is not a goal or is helpful, beneficial, or whatever with a Black man. But when it comes to other race men, suddenly that ideal that they have with Black men just flies out the window. Men of other races are getting different standards than the people in our communities. That's why the marriage rate is not where it should be in our community. And I've said before, Black women are the reasons why the marriage rate is low. I realize that men are the ones who request your hand in marriage. But if you have women who say that they don't care about marriage, that marriage is not a goal, I'm an independent boss itch, I don't need a man, and all of that stuff, you're telling your children that, they grow up and emulate that. Then you have people of other races who value the nuclear family, because they know that that builds character, it makes for a safer community, all kinds of stuff that goes along with that. But our community, you don't have to take my word for it. It's mostly online, because people can hide behind a key, a typewriter or whatever. I know that's not the right word, a keypad, whatever. And, and they get into this like little echo chamber of, yeah, I don't want marriage because, marriage is only for these weak itches out here. And I'm too fabulous to be married and, this, that, and the other. Y'all don't have to take my word for it. Go to Facebook, go to Twitter, go to forums geared towards Black women, and you will see all of the negativity about marriage coming from Black women. But those same Black women will have stars in their eyes when it comes to a man of another race, because, those men of other races, they do what they're supposed to do. But that's because their women won't expect anything less than marriage. Their women are not having children without the benefit of marriage. And please do not come at me with the trailer park next to you where they pretty much act like the ghetto. I don't live by the trailer park, and I don't live in the ghetto, but I have lived in the ghetto before. And so I know what goes on. I'm talking your average middle class people of other cultures that value marriage. And For the most part, the middle class, even in the Black community, may value marriage a little bit more depending on where you live. But I'm talking like the average community. Stats say that that Black women are at an 80% single motherhood rate, or almost 80%. That's on us. That's on women. And I had a woman in a previous video blast me because, again, Black women want to blame Black men and just totally absolve themselves. I'm an innocent little lamb. I don't know how I got pregnant. He must have tripped on a banana peel and it just went up in me, and the next thing I knew I was pregnant. Y'all have to stop with the excuses because it's getting tired and it's getting ridiculous. This is on us, women. When women have certain standards, and I'm not talking the superficial standards about, I drive a Mercedes, and I got a pricey condo downtown, and my bag is $10,000 and whatever. Whereas women of other cultures, they want to cook and clean, and they want to be a wife and all of that stuff. And let me say something else that I've mentioned in another video. Some of those other women of other cultures, particularly white women, they can be all about the down with the patriarchy. We don't need men. We don't need husbands and marriage and stuff like that. And guess what they're doing after they get off the picket line? Going home to a husband. Or they're going home to their unattractive girlfriend with their cat named Jinxie. But the point is, they're going home either to a husband or a potential husband. The Black community a lot of times don't have that same luxury because Black women are not raising their children to value marriage. Yes, I said it. Get mad if you want, but it is what it is. And I've been talking about this for 20 years and it's still going on. So at some point, women have to stand up and say, you know what? I value myself and my future children enough to be married before I bring them into this world. And that's not happening. But that was my topic for today. If you get a chance to check out my other videos, make sure you vibe, and I will talk to you later. Bye.